From Omni Search Labs in Rhode Island, you're listening to Omni Presents. I'm Chris.
And I'm Cheryl. We're your AI guides from the Omni Search Labs virtual digital marketing team.
Join us as we unravel the latest from the OSL blog.
And walk you through the latest news and information on how to optimize your business for AI and search engines.
So I want to start this deep dive today by tapping into a very specific emotion. It's a feeling that I think almost every business owner in Rhode Island has felt at least once. It's that moment of pure, unadulterated relief. You know the one I'm talking about.
Oh, I can probably guess. Is
Yeah.
it the moment you finally lock the door on a Friday afternoon?
Close, but no, it's specifically about your digital presence. It's that moment after months of emails, design reviews, rewriting the About Us page until 2 in the morning, and just agonizing over fonts.
Right, the moment the web developer finally says, okay, we are live.
Exactly. You hit that publish button, you pull up the new site on your iPhone, and it looks crisp. It's beautiful.
It really is the champagne moment. You look at it and think, finally, the hard work is done. I have built it. Now I can just sit back and watch every new lead roll in.
Yeah. And that right there is the field of dreams fallacy. If you build it, they will come. I mean, it worked for Kevin Costner in a cornfield, but for a business in Pawtucket or Newport, it is a dangerous trap.
It's a lovely sentiment for a movie, but in the digital reality of 2026, it's actually a recipe for invisibility. And that is exactly what we're unpacking today. We're doing a deep dive into a really critical piece of source material titled, Your Website is Open for Business, but is anyone finding it?
And the central thesis here is a bit of a wake-up call. The argument is that a website without active search engine optimization, SEO, and AI optimization is functionally like opening a beautiful storefront on a dead-end street in a back alley without putting a sign on the door.
And completely forgetting to tell the GPS companies you even exist.
Right, you are technically open, but
Yeah.
functionally, you're a ghost town.
I think we need to start by dissecting why this happens. Because I don't think business owners are being negligent on purpose. I think there's a genuine misunderstanding of roles. When you invest thousands of dollars to build a site, there is a natural assumption that being found is part of the package.
It feels like it should be, right? If I buy a car, I expect it to drive on the highway.
But that's where the nuance is. And the source material handles this really respectfully, which is so important. We have to be clear, web developers and designers are incredibly talented craftsmen. They are valued partners. They are the architects and builders. Their job is to construct the vessel.
Right, they make sure it looks professional, the user experience is smooth, the images load fast, and it doesn't crash when you open it on an Android phone. That is all critical work.
Absolutely. That is what we call SEO-friendly architecture. But there's a massive canyon between SEO-friendly and actively optimized.
I love the analogy the article uses, so let's expand on that. Think of your new website as a high-performance Ferrari. Your developer just parked it in your driveway in Barrington. It's red, it's shiny, it has a massive engine. It is highly capable of winning a race. That is SEO-friendly.
Yeah, but it's just sitting there. Actively optimized is the act of actually racing the car. It's putting high-octane fuel in the tank. It's hiring a driver who knows the track, changing the tires based on the weather conditions. If you just leave that Ferrari in the driveway, it doesn't matter how fast the engine could go. You aren't going anywhere.
And to carry that further, the race in this context isn't a one-time event. It's a continuous season.
Exactly. Developers build a project. It has a start and an end date. SEO is a process. It never really ends because the landscape never stops changing.
So what are those racing elements that are usually missing when a developer hands over the keys?
It's the strategic layer. Most developers will put in page titles and maybe some basic meta descriptions, which is great, but that's the bare minimum. Meaningful optimization requires deep competitive research. Who are the other guys in your industry? What are they ranking for? It requires building local authority, focusing on EEAT, and implementing structured data, which is the specific code that talks directly to AI.
That distinction is why Omni Search Labs is so specific about their identity. They aren't a web design agency that just also does SEO as an add-on.
Right. They are the only firm in Rhode Island exclusively dedicated to search engine and AI visibility as a standalone practice. And looking at the author's background really drives this home. He has been focused on search since 1997.
It is literally pre-Google.
It is, and he's been working with AI since 2018, back with the early IBM Watson days. So when the material talks about the difference between building and optimizing, it comes from 30 years of seeing businesses stumble because they stopped at the building phase.
Let's talk about that stumble, because I think a lot of people assume, okay, if I don't do SEO, I just won't grow as fast. But the data in this deep dive suggests it's actually worse than that. You don't just stay flat, you actually go backward.
Yeah, it's a concept called SEO depreciation. There is a really fascinating study referenced from late 2024 by Search Pilot. They wanted to answer the question, what happens if we do nothing?
I mean, it sounds like a philosophical question, but they put hard numbers to it.
They did. The study found that if you stop optimizing, or if you launch a site and never start, your organic traffic decays by 10 to 20% in the first year alone.
Let's just pause on that. 1 out of every 5 potential customers just vanishes in year 1.
And it compounds. Year 2, you lose another chunk off that smaller base. It is a downward spiral.
But why? Because if the website is still there, and the content hasn't changed, and the internet is still on,
Why does the traffic drop? Think of it like a 401k or an investment portfolio. If you put a lump sum of cash under your mattress in 1990, the dollar amount is technically the same today, but the buying power, it's decimated. Why? Because the economy moved forward. Inflation happened.
so in this analogy, the economy is the search algorithm.
Exactly. Google and the AI platforms change their criteria hundreds of times a month. They are constantly raising the bar for what they consider a good result. If your site is static, you are effectively falling behind the standard. You are shrinking relative to the market.
Plus, we can't forget the competition. It's not a vacuum.
Right. If the boat repair shop down the street in Warwick is actively blogging, getting new reviews, and updating their schema markup, they're going to leapfrog you.
Yep.
You sink simply by trying to stay afloat while everyone else is actively swimming.
And we have to remember, organic search still accounts for 53% of trackable web traffic. That is more than paid ads and social media combined. So if you are neglecting organic search, you are neglecting your single biggest channel for business.
But here's where it gets really interesting. And this is the part that I think every business owner needs to hear loud and clear. We aren't just talking about traditional Google search anymore. We have to talk about the AI factor. The shift to 2026.
This is the query fan-out concept from the source material.
Yes, query fan out.
It sounds super technical, but let's unpack it because it explains how user behavior has fundamentally shifted. People aren't just typing keywords like Plumber Cranston anymore.
No, they are having full conversations. They're using tools like ChatGPT, Claude, or Google's AI overviews to ask complex, multi-layered questions.
Give us an example of a complex question that a Rhode Islander might ask their phone today.
Okay, imagine a tourist or even a local. Instead of typing estate attorney East Providence, they might say, I need an estate attorney near East Providence who handles special needs trusts and has really good reviews for being patient with elderly clients.
That is a very specific, very human request.
It is. In the old days, a search engine would choke on that. It would just look for the words attorney and East Providence. But an AI uses query fan out. It takes that one complex question and breaks it apart, fans it out into multiple subqueries.
So it's acting almost like a digital research assistant.
Exactly. It instantly runs a search for estate attorneys in East Providence. Then it runs a separate check for special needs trust experience. Then it scans reviews for keywords like patient, kind, or empathetic. Then it checks hours of operation. It gathers all these disparate puzzle pieces.
And then it just reassembles them into a single cohesive answer.
Right. It says, I recommend Smith and Associates. There in East Providence, they explicitly mention special needs trusts on their services page, and several reviews mention how patient they are.
That is an incredible experience for the user. But for the business owner, that sounds like an incredibly high bar to clear.
It is a high bar, because here is the invisible threat. The AI does not have a brain. It doesn't know you are empathetic. It doesn't know you handle trusts. It only knows what it can read in the structured data and the text on your site.
So if your website doesn't explicitly state special needs trust services in a way the machine can read, or if you don't have reviews that the AI can easily parse.
You simply do not exist in that answer. You are invisible.
And this connects directly back to the idea that if you are invisible to traditional search, you are invisible to AI.
Precisely. AI models don't have magical knowledge. They rely on the search index as their foundation.
Let's apply this to the marine trades, since we are in the ocean state. This feels huge for that industry.
Oh, it's massive. Imagine a boater coming into Narragansett Bay. They ask their onboard system, where can I dock a 40-foot sailboat for the night that has 50-amp power and is walking distance to a seafood restaurant?
Now, if I'm the marina owner, I know I have those slips. I know the clam shack is right next door. But does the AI know?
Only if you have used structured data schema markup to tell it. You need code on your site that explicitly defines max boat length is 40 feet, amperage is 50, and nearby amenities include a restaurant.
And if that data isn't there,
The AI won't take the risks. It wants to give a high-confidence answer. If a competitor in Newport has that data clearly marked up, the AI will recommend them instead of you.
so active optimization is basically translating your business reality into a language that machines can understand.
That's the perfect way to put it. You are teaching the AI how to sell your business for you.
Okay, I can see you, the listener, nodding along. You get the concept.
Yeah.
You understand the fear of the invisible storefront. But I can also feel the tension in the room. We have to talk about the budget.
The elephant in the room.
Because hiring a specialist firm isn't a $5 expense, it's a professional service.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of SMBs in Rhode Island, we know margins are tight.
They are, and we need to approach this with empathy. But we also need to look at the math. The article presents some really compelling data on ROI.
It does. It mentions that SEO delivers an average of 12 times return on investment.
12 times. You would be hard-pressed to find a stock that returns that reliably.
And let's talk about close rates, because this is where the psychology of the buyer comes in. When someone finds you through organic search, what is their actual intent?
They are actively looking for a solution. They have a problem right now. That's why organic leads close at a rate of about 15%.
Compare that to outbound marketing. Cold calling, direct mail, blasting out emails to people who didn't ask for them.
Outbound closes at roughly 2%.
So you have to do 7 times the work and annoy a lot more people to get the exact same result as one organic lead.
Plus, organic results get nearly 20 times the clicks that paid ads do. People inherently trust the organic results more than the sponsored label.
But let's play devil's advocate for a second. What if the cash flow just isn't there right now? What if a business owner literally cannot afford the Cadillac package of full-service SEO right out of the gate? Do they just do nothing?
No. And this is a key takeaway from the deep dive. Doing nothing is how you get that 20% decay. The solution is a phased strategy.
Triage.
Exactly. A good specialist, a partner, not just a vendor, will work with your budget. You don't buy the Cadillac, you fix the engine first. Phase 1 might just be fixing the technical errors that are stopping Google from indexing your site. Get the foundation right.
Then maybe phase 2 is optimizing your Google business profile so you at least show up on local maps.
Right. You chip away at it. Going back to the retirement account analogy, putting in a small amount every month starting today is infinitely better than waiting 5 years until you can afford a big contribution.
Because by then, the compound interest of neglect has put you in a massive hole.
Exactly. It costs significantly more money to rescue a website that is flatlined than it does to maintain one that's healthy. It's like emergency surgery versus just going to the gym.
So let's get tactical. If you are a business owner in South Kingstown or Woonsocket or Westerly, and you're looking at your beautiful new website and starting to sweat a little, what do you do today?
We can boil this down to a simple checklist. Step 1, go talk to your web vendor. But do not just ask, did you do SEO?
Because they will just say yes.
They will say yes because they put in some page titles. You need to ask specific questions. Ask, is SEO a primary concentration of your firm, or is it an add-on service? And ask, how are you measuring progress? Do we have a baseline report?
That baseline is key. If they can't show you where you started, they really can't show you where you're going.
Step 2, verify the experience of the team. And this is a nuance I really appreciated in the source material. Agencies love to say we have 100 years of combined experience.
Which usually just means they have 20 junior employees who have each been there for 5 years.
Or 10 interns who just started. You need to ask who is touching your account. Do they have the scar tissue? Have they seen the algorithm changes of 2018, 2022, 2024? Experience and strategy is very different from experience in basic task execution.
And step 3, what about the tools?
Google Search Console. It is completely free. It is from Google. If you do not have this connected to your website, you are flying the plane with your eyes closed. It tells you exactly how Google sees your site, what errors it's finding, and what people are actually typing to find you.
And for the local folks, the pizza shops, the plumbers, the florists.
Google Business Profile. Go audit it right now. Is your address right? Are your hours current? Do you have photos?
Why do the photos matter so much for the AI?
Because AI models now have vision capabilities. They look at the photos to understand what you sell and the vibe of your business. If you say you're a high-end restaurant but your photos are blurry pictures of empty tables, the AI deprioritizes you. You have to feed the machine good data.
It really all comes down to the fact that visibility is not a participation trophy.
Yeah.
You don't get it just for showing up and launching a site.
No, it is earned. And in a state as small and competitive as Rhode Island, where everybody knows everybody, you just can't afford to give up that ground. Every time a competitor shows up above you in a search result, that is a conversation you missed. That is revenue you missed.
And as we've learned, that revenue loss compounds over time.
The best time to start optimizing was 6 months ago. The second best time is today.
Well, this has certainly changed my perspective on that publish button. It feels less like a finish line and a lot more like the starting gun.
That's definitely the healthy way to view it. The race never really stops, but if you have the right pit crew, it's a race you can win.
Here's the wrapper. A website isn't a set-it-and-forget-its asset. Without active SEO and AI optimization, your digital storefront is essentially invisible, and your traffic will naturally decay by up to 20% in the first year alone.
If you're a business owner challenged with this right now, the key is to stop viewing optimization as a one-time launch task. Whether you're in Woonsocket or Westerly, go claim your Google business profile and connect your site to Google Search Console today. Those are the foundational signals AI needs to find you.
Head over to omnisearchlabs.com/blog to read the full post.
We'll be back in a few weeks with our next episode. From Omni Search Labs in Rhode Island, thanks for listening.
Now go optimize something and be discovered.